Yeah. Microphone's working.
Yeah. Bob, would you mind
Testing, testing.
tap your microphone for me? Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Flores. Doesn't sound like yours is. Tap it again.
I don't think hers was working earlier. I don't think it's worked because it hasn't gone directly to there, but we can hear. So-
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Flores.
While you're visiting Jennifer's and Jake Thornton at, their residence, have you seen other people get aggressive with my mother?
Yes,
Because they're not used to being around an Alzheimer patient. They all know how to react, would you say?
right.
Let me see. Has Jennifer stated you to before, because Dave Johnson's a living at your house, is that correct? I think he lives at Jennifer's house,
Yes,
and he doesn't have a job?
for her.
He works for her, okay. And where does he sleep in that house?
The lower floor.
In the
On
same
left.
floor as my mother's bedroom, so he's in the living room then?
He's on this side and she's on this side.
So, do you know, has Jennifer ever stated to you that her mother is scared of Dave Johnson?
Yes,
For a fact?
yes.
Jennifer stated that to you. One more question, or two more questions. You have a son named JT, he's 15-year-old,
Yes,
and his IQ is on the same level as a Down syndrome child?
yes,
And he's 15, he's a big boy, isn't he?
yes,
Tall, I don't know, 265 pounds maybe?
yes.
Okay, are you gaining anything out of this by coming in to testify on my mom's behalf today for me?
You just said you'd pay me for my gas,
I
but
pay for your gasoline. Now, LaShawn, do you feel our mother deserves a better living condition outside of Jennifer's surroundings?
yes,
Swear to God.
yes.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
So Sean, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
I'm on felony probation, not convicted of a felony. I guess
How
you'd
many
say.
felonies?
One,
What was the charge?
assault on a police officer.
Okay. And have you been barred from the Green Acres from going in there?
A long time ago, yeah, but I'm going there anyway.
Was that for fighting or what was it?
No,
You were once married to J.J. Thornton, Jennifer's boyfriend,
yes,
so you got a little bit of vendetta going, do you?
no,
You, didn't you try to get an EPO against him last evening?
I did get one on him, yes.
Yes, is that connection with this case?
Well, yes, since he's driving 50 miles to sit on my road, yes.
So just coincidence that while you're getting after your ex-husband because he dates Jennifer, that you would charge him, trying to get an EPO the day before?
No, I was getting harassing phone calls.
Now, we've had social workers testify, we've had a whole bunch of witnesses testify. Nobody has seen Betty wandering on 27 but you.
Really?
Is that a coincidence or
Isn't
just
it?
an eagle-eyed person?
I'm telling the truth.
Okay. And then the social workers have investigated at least 3 or 4 times, never complained about sleeping conditions or inappropriate activity in Jennifer's house, but you've discovered it.
Repeat the question?
You've discovered inappropriate sleeping conditions of visitors to the house that's dangerous to Betty. Is that what you
What
said?
inappropriate sleeping
I thought
conditions
said
are you
the fellow
talking about?
Sleeping in the same house as Betty, the same floor as Betty. You didn't say that earlier?
Repeat the question. What do you want me to, repeat the
Well, you
question.
said that there's a fellow named Dave Johnson who lives on the premises, and you implied that he slept on the same floor as...
He does
Betty.
sleep on the same floor as
What I'm
Betty.
saying is that the social workers who investigated the place 3 or 4 times never raised that issue.
Well, that is not,
And then you
how
say
could that be my problem?
they locked Betty in the car for 1 or 2 hours at a time?
Yes,
and you've seen them tie her down with a sheet.
Did I say I seen her tied down with a sheet?
You
No, I did
you
not.
said that she was tied down, but she
Said
left.
I've heard afterwards that
So
they
all
had
these
to tie her
other-
down.
All these other witnesses who have never seen anything out of the way are all mistaken.
They're lying.
They're all lying.
They're lying.
Now, would it be fair to assume that you're so mad at your ex-boyfriend or your ex-husband that you want to really put it on him?
No,
And
why would I be all year at her house working for her, getting along with my husband and her all year, had dinner together with them many times.
And didn't you?
No
have this
problems whatsoever.
meeting- Didn't you have a meeting with Cindy and this other group of people where you said you had a master plan to destroy Jennifer and Jim? You didn't
No, I
say
don't
that?
have no master plan to destroy
Did
Jennifer.
you say that?
I said it seems to be God's master plan and work.
Oh, you did say that?
I said God's
Oh,
master
you're-
plan.
You're God's agent? aren't you?
No, I'm not God's agent. But this town sure has a lot of liars.
That's all we have, Judge Safar.
All right. Any, Mr. Conley or Mr. Baskar?
We have nothing.
All right. Redirect.
Pam Shannon,
Brief.
Sharon, please.
Pam Sharon, ma'am, you can step down. Pam Sharon's the next witness.
So, Your Honor, excuse me, can I get that tape, how do I say it, admissible into court so you can hear that? I'll have it on the set right where Julie Heenan's stating what truly happened. It'd only take you 2 minutes to listen to it.
Well, you would have to sponsor the tape into evidence, and,
It's critical, Your Honor.
well, you'll need to come up with a theory by which it's admissible. Is it inconsistent with something that Julie testified to?
Correct.
It is.
Yes.
Then when we call for rebuttal testimony, perhaps that will be the time to do it. I'm not your attorney, ma'am, and I'm
Oh,
not
no.
a
No,
substitute for your attorney.
No,
You're gonna have to
no,
figure-
no, I just want to put it into
you're gonna have to
evidence.
find your own way here.
Yep.
All right, Ms. Sharon, if you'll come around and be sworn.
If you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the statements you will be giving are true, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Be seated.
Thank you.
Good evening, Miss Sharon. Have you met her mother before, at any time,
Yes,
besides today?
yes.
When did you first meet her?
It's probably been 3.5 years ago when I was at Jennifer's to buy flowers.
Okay, so have you seen my mother or her mother decline the last 3.5 years that you've seen my mother?
Yes, I've seen her different locations and stuff.
And you're the mother of Jake Thornton, who lives with my sister Jennifer
Yes,
Rice?
I am.
What do you know about my mother's living environment at Jennifer's residence?
I was told by my son.
Objection sustained.
Okay. Have you heard any instances regarding our mother on a police scanner?
Yes, we have a police scanner.
I object what was reported on the police scanner too. I would think that would be hearsay.
Sustained.
911 reports? Well, I guess that's hearsay. Do you have a mentally challenged grandson named JT?
Yes, I did.
How old is JT?
JT's 15 right now. He'll be 16 in December.
Would he be able to come into court to testify at all? Because his mentality is the same level of a Down syndrome child?
No, he wouldn't really be able to testify.
What age is he mentally in the brain?
The school told me last year, because we had custody of him for 8 months, and his state is what the state has says that his learning capacity and him not being left alone is of a child of an 8 to a 9-year-old child.
And this mentally handicapped, disabled child, sorry to talk like that, he has watched my mother's many times,
Yes, he has.
alone.
Yes, he has.
Okay, do you have anything else that you're aware of that you can tell the court about my mother?
Well, like I said, I do have a police scanner, and I have heard different
Objection sustained, ma'am.
reports.
Okay, let me, one last question. I know you don't know me that well. You probably met my mother many more times than myself or my sister Laura.
Yes, ma'am.
But do you feel our mother deserves a better living condition outside of Jennifer's surrounding?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is there anything else you want to add?
If I'm allowed to, like I said, my son has been to my house several occasions.
Objection to what he might say.
If this relates to something that your son has said, ma'am, then you're not permitted to testify to that.
Well, sir, my thing is to him was when he told me something.
Ma'am, I know it's frustrating, and I know a lot of things that we all think about has something to do with what people tell us. I appreciate that, but I'm telling you, you can't testify to what you know except by your own personal experience. And if it has to do with something your son told you, then that's hearsay, and I'm not going to permit you to testify about that. I
Well,
don't mean to be difficult, but that's the ruling of the court.
Okay, well, what I was going to say was what I told him. It wasn't what he said, it's what I told him that he would be liable, same as she would be if anything would happen.
Okay.
That's all I was going to say,
All right.
you know.
Thank you very much.
Anything else?
I just think that Miss Betty would be in a lot better environment, because the last time I was down there, she's not really being watched. I don't feel that, she's right on the highway. And so to me, I just think that she'd be better off in a better environment. And I think she needs to be put in a safe place because of her age and her condition.
And have you ever heard of that Jennifer had a sister named Cindy or Cynthia living in Northern Kentucky?
No, really
She
not.
never talked about me.
No, never really did. No, I just knew she had sisters, but I didn't have no
She didn't
idea.
realize how close I was. Okay,
No.
thank you. Thank you for coming.
No questions.
No questions? Any questions? You're free to go, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is that the cases in chief? Any rebuttal testimony?
I don't have any other witnesses. What was that? I'm sorry.
Any rebuttal testimony before we conclude the evidence?
No, is everybody done?
All right. All right. But the evidence is now concluded. I don't see anybody rushing to the forefront to produce anything else. As you all might imagine, there's a volume of evidence that I've got to digest. There's no way I'm going to be able to give you all an opinion tonight, and I don't think you would want to wait for me to sit down and try to figure all of that out anyway. Do any of you want the opportunity to brief the hearing before I take it under advisement?
Yes, I would.
Well, do you understand? What I'm asking is whether any of the attorneys or parties, in this case, Ms. Flores would have an opportunity representing herself, but do any of the parties want to brief the factual testimony presented to the court before I take the matter under submission for ruling? That would be to summarize the evidence, to argue the law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I hate to get my hands more deeply around this tar baby, Your Honor, but normally I would say yes. And I wouldn't like to take a long time, but I think it would be helpful for the court. There's probably legal authority that's relevant, and it would be a nice summary. I've worked with Mr. Bethalter before, and I think we could probably both cooperate in getting something to you in short order, probably simultaneously, if we can agree on that, without replies.
I really don't want to get into replies because that seems to go on forever sometimes if you're not very careful or if you allow it to. How about briefing within 10 days or 2 weeks to be submitted?
How about, I'm going to suggest 10 days. I would take us to the end of next week.
That's fine.
I know that you probably have many other things to do as well. I know Mr. Bethalter does. But I don't think we want it to go longer than that.
That's fine, and I'll be glad to do that. Briefing then to be filed by all parties, if they so wish, by Friday at 4 p.m., whatever next Friday is. That's, I don't have a calendar.
Here's your calendar.
All right, I'll note that on the docket. Do I have a docket here?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Sure about that?
You have it, because you took it out of the,
I thought okay.
You want a hard copy, Your Honor? Can we do it by email?
Yeah, you could do it by email.
We do that, we'll check with your chambers. I'm just thinking that
I kind of like it that way,
since as
sort of, yeah.
as a trade, we're procrastinators, and it would save us a trip live to file something down here.
Just send, certainly put a hard copy in the file, but
do that.
but yeah. You can get the email to me, and I'll have it where I don't have to come down and get it. All right, so the notation on the docket will be that evidentiary hearing held.
Your Honor, may I have one request, please?
Let me make my note first, ma'am, and then I'll get back to you. Evidentiary hearing held, matter to be briefed. With briefs due. What did you say, the 4th it was?
November 4th.
November 4 at 4 p.m. And then to be taken under submission, goodness gracious, I can say I'm tired. To be taken under submission. Yes, Ms. Flores?
The October 11th court document stated that the funds on mother's bank accounts will be frozen until this court date. Can I please ask that the accounts be held frozen until October 3rd of next Friday, please?
There's an order on the record, Judge, to regulate that.
Let's see. This order's not been, this has been tendered but not entered. I entered a fax copy of that.
Yeah, I don't, did you sign that already?
I think I entered a fax copy of this order. There was an order tendered that would indicate that the remaining house proceeds be segregated and not spent pending further order. And that Ms. Rice not spend any assets except those directly attributable to the care until further order of the court. We're not seeing that was ever in fact entered, although I do recall it being requested.
The court asked me to prepare based on our conversation at the last hearing, so.
And he prepared it, and you haven't been here since he gave it to me. I had it clipped to the file.
This being the one,
Yes.
it's entered now. So that will,
Your Honor, because
that's pending further order, ma'am, so it doesn't expire today.
okay, thank you.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, I'm just worried
It
about.
didn't say that it expired today. It
Yeah.
said that it expires when I do something to the contrary. So
Okay,
you're
so
still
I mean, her
covered.
pension coming in just in case October 3rd decision, I don't want that $2,400 to be in her hands when it's not going to be used towards my mother.
The 2,400, actually, that got confused in the testimony. It's $2,300, but that $2,300 will have to be attributable to her care in order to be used. If it's not attributable to her care, quote unquote, then, and I guess we can all argue about what that means, but if it's not attributable to care, then you will have an objection that you can file.
Now I can take it, okay, thank you.
Your Honor, one more quick motion. Our client's flown from Florida and she wants to visit her mother tomorrow. Can she pick up?
I'd like to take my mother out for about 4 hours.
I don't have a problem with that. I let her break once in a while.
Oh, okay. So you all can arrange?
It's fine, no problem.
Okay, great.
BB's. You get the video recording.